Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this puffy dress tutorial. You can either actually make it into a dress or a blouse or a skirt, whichever one you want to do. So just like here, it's made into a blouse. You can also make it into a dress or whatever. So let's just dive in. So hit the subscribe button below your screen, and that's pretty much it. So guys, today's puffy skirt is a very simple one, and to make it very quick, to make today's tutorial very quick, we'll be focusing mainly on the puff and ignoring everything else like the actual body of the dress or blouse. You can either make it, like I mentioned earlier, you can use this puff as an elegant detail for a blouse or for a skirt, like the picture I just showed you. This one, it was just for a blouse. You can also use it for a skirt depending on what you're trying to make. So we'll be focusing mainly on that puff right now. So now let's assume you want to add the puff to a blouse. So if this is your, I'm just going to use my mannequin. So if this is your dress, for instance, from here to here is maybe a blouse, from here to here is a dress. So if you're making a blouse, after you're done like sewing the blouse and the darts and all those things, just measure the hem of your blouse round. So whatever you have, write it somewhere. If it's a dress you want to make, go down to this part and measure the length round of this part here, or width. So you measure it round and then you also write it down somewhere. Or if it's like an asymmetrical one you're making, all you have to do is to just, you'd have drawn in the asymmetrical part on your dress. So all you have to do is to just measure the hem of the asymmetrical part. So yeah, and of course, you measure both your front and back separately. So after measuring the hem of your front, you go right to the back and also measure the hem of your back. So pretty much. Now for me, I want to make this into an asymmetrical dress, and this is where I want to place the puff, right here. So asymmetrical this way, so it's slant. So I'm just going to measure it this way. You can see it slants. So on my miniature I have 7 inches, so just ignore that because we are not using the 7. So if I was making this for my own adult self, I'm going to have 21 inches right at this part here. Once I measure it this way, I'm going to have 21 inches. So measure yours and then write 21 inches. Then you multiply it by 3 because we need to gather that part. So 21 times 3, whatever I get, I'll write it down. So that gives me 63 inches, and that will be the width I'll be measuring on my fabric. Now for the length, that is how long we want the puff to be down. So you measure from where this stops, from the hem, either from here down, or if it's a blouse, from where your blouse is going to stop down, or if it's as for what I want, from wherever you want to start from all the way to the hem, or wherever you want the puff to stop. So if I was making this for myself, the length for me, I wouldn't mind about 30 inches. So the length would be 30 inches down. So now that's that. So this is my width and this is my length. So I'm just going to get my fabric now and cut that out. Now before we cut on our fabric, I just wanted to mention that for the length you need to add about 10 inches to the length. So just add about 10 inches. So that's going to give me about 40 inches total for the length. So yeah, you'll know why we added the 10 inches later. So now this is my fabric cut out. So this is my width and this is the length. So this is everything cut out. Now this is for the actual fashion fabric. Now we need to cut the lining for this. Now to cut the lining, for the length of the lining, instead of cutting 40 inches, we'll not cut that 40 inches. We'll now remove this 10 inches and then we'll cut 30 inches length for the lining, but the width will remain the same. So we'll be cutting 30 inches for the lining. So cut 30 inches for the lining, and this is for the actual fashion fabric that we already cut. So now I'm going to cut the lining now. Now this is my lining cut out. So this is it. This is my actual fabric. Now that's all. Now we can now move straight to sewing this. So you don't get confused, I'm going to write a big L on this, just so we know the difference. So this is it. This is my lining. This is my fashion fabric. You can see it's shorter. The lining is shorter than the actual fashion fabric. Now to sew, we come to the hem. I'm going to place my lining at the hem of this. So place it right sides together. I can't figure out the right side of this fabric because it's just a calico. So I'm just going to use any parts I feel like I want for the right side. So yeah, just place it right sides together at the hem. So yeah, this is it. Now I'm just going to sew this. So you can just sew like a 1/4 inch all the way down. So I'll just do that now. Once you sew, we turn it inside out. I'll show you when I'm done sewing. So guys, this is it sewn down. Now all I have to do is to just like turn it in, iron the edges like really flat, just so that it is neat. So once I iron it, I'll pull this to the top here. You pull it to the top here, make sure it matches each other. So you can see now that a little bit of the front is now pulled into the back. So you can see now, iron. By the time you are done ironing, then you gather. So we need to gather this part here, gather it, and then we gather it back to whatever it is you measured here or here or here, whichever part you measure to. I'll just measure back to my 21 inches. This 21 inches, I'll gather back to 21 inches. So pretty much I'll do all of that now and show you what the final thing looks like. So guys, this is it gathered up. So now all you have to do is to just attach it to your dress or your blouse. Now to make it stand, to make it very structured and make it stand more, you can either decide to iron on a collar stay. This is a collar stay here. You can see how strong it is. So you can iron that to the lining before sewing it. This part that we stitched here. So before attaching and stitching, you can first iron on the collar stay to the lining, or you can use this. You can use a crinoline like this. So you just attach also to the hem of the lining, and then by the time you attach it to the lining, then you stitch down, and by the time you turn it in, the crinoline will be inside here. So you get the drift, but I'm not doing that to this because it's just the miniature. I really don't have to waste this or use this for this. So yeah, now I'm just going to attach this to the miniature now, and then I'll show you what the final look is going to look like. Don't forget to tap the subscribe button below your screen, tap the like button also, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.